and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Maricar Bautista sitting in for Rain Musngi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The Philippine tourism and hospitality sectors are experiencing a significant transformation marked by a surge in international arrivals and evolving traveler preferences. At the forefront of this evolution is the Philippine Hotel Owners Association, or PHOA, playing a pivotal role in steering the industry towards sustainable growth and innovation. Today on Follow the Money, we are joined by Benito C. Bengzon Jr., Executive Director of PHOA, to delve into the current landscape and future prospects of the Philippine hotel industry. Good afternoon, Mr. Bengzon, and welcome to Follow the Money.
Good afternoon, Maricar, and thank you for having me in your program.
Okay, recent data indicates that Philippine hotels experienced a 2.91% increase in their average daily rate to $125.03 in 2024, with international bookings rising by 13.6%. How is PHOA planning to sustain this momentum in 2025, and what strategies are being implemented to attract more international visitors? Yes, sir?
Well, last year was a good year for the hotel industry in general. We saw an increase in the number of international and domestic travelers all over the country, and this has resulted in higher occupancy, better revenue for the hotels. And obviously for 2025, we are keeping our fingers crossed that the growth will be sustained. What's going to be crucial in achieving our targets, whether in terms of occupancy, revenue, or headcount, is to make sure that there's a steady stream of inbound visitors, particularly from overseas. Last year, the report of the Department of Tourism was that there were about 5.9 million foreign visitors. So there's still a gap that has to be covered, because we were at 8.2 million pre-pandemic in 2019. So clearly, there's the gap that has to be addressed for us to be able to go to pre-pandemic levels. It's also very important for the domestic market to continue to have a strong appetite for domestic travel. Now, on the part of the Philippine Hotel Owners Association, we have to make sure that our facilities and the services are always up to par to what the guests are looking for.
Okay, Mr. Bengzon, the Michelin Guide has announced its expansion into the Philippines, focusing on Manila and Cebu, and with the inaugural selection set for release in late 2025. What impact do you anticipate this will have on the local hospitality industry, and how are hotels preparing for this heightened global attention?
The Michelin Guide on the Philippines will help raise the profile of the country for culinary tourism, for gastronomy. And on the part of the hotels, this is welcome news for us, especially if by some stroke of luck, some of our restaurants end up in the guide. I think the decision of Michelin to include the Philippines in its 2026 edition is a reflection of the confidence in what we have to offer as a culinary destination. And this is also a challenge for Philippine hotels and restaurants to make sure that the offers are comparable to what is found not only in the region but around the globe. So again, this is welcome news for the hotels, and we see this as another opportunity to raise the profile of the country for gastronomy, and also an opportunity to generate additional revenue for our members.
So at least there is a recognition on when it comes to the skills of Filipinos when it comes to cooking.
Absolutely. From the audit of the culinary offers that was reported just a couple of days ago, it's very evident that we have a wide and strong base of young and up-and-coming chefs who have demonstrated their ability to come up with culinary offers, again, comparable to what can be found in the region. And again, this is a very encouraging development, and something that has to be sustained if we want to make our mark as a major and a compelling culinary destination.
Okay, it was mentioned earlier that the focus is only on Manila and Cebu, or do you intend to expand also in other provinces as well?
Initially, the audit covered Manila, Cebu, from what we gathered. But I would imagine that eventually the the audit would include other destinations because clearly the Philippines has a lot of destinations that are known for their own culinary concoctions. And I can mention a few. Pampanga, for example, comes to mind. A lot of destinations in the Visayas and in Mindanao. And again, apart from providing the tourists more culinary options, it also provides opportunities for local communities to benefit from tourism in general.
Okay, a recent forum highlighted the rapid growth of Philippine tourism, emphasizing the rise of branded residences that blend luxury living with world-class hospitality services. How is PHOA addressing this trend, and what opportunities does it present for hotel owners and investors?
Well, right now, the Philippine Hotel Owners Association has about 227 member hotels, resorts, apartment hotels all over the country. We have a current inventory of about 40,000 rooms. In the next 5 years, we are lining up about 150 hotel projects, which will add another 40,000 rooms to the country's inventory. The total investment is estimated at around 250 billion pesos. And again, this is a very clear sign of investors' confidence. And on the part of PHOA, we would like to do our share to help the country, to help the government achieve its target in terms of expanding our room inventory and providing more options for our visitors from overseas and also from within the Philippines.
But do you foresee also probable or possible challenges that you may encounter along the way?
Well, because the Philippines is an archipelago, and I've mentioned this many times, the full development of tourism and the hotel industry would be contingent on ensuring that we have enough international flights, not only to Manila and Cebu, but also to the other emerging destinations. We don't have the benefit of cross-border traffic like what most of our neighbors in Southeast Asia do. Many of them are part of a contiguous mass that allow cross-border travel by land. In our case, our visitors have to fly. So that is going to be one key challenge, to make sure that the air access continues to be addressed properly. And of course, related to this, we have to make sure that our airport infrastructure is also world-class. Apart from that, we also have to make sure that connectivity within the country is as seamless as possible. So we have to make it as easy as possible for our tourists to move around the country once they enter our main gateways.
Okay, so Mr. Bengzon, are you in talks with concerned government agencies who can ensure that there would be enough international flights, as you've mentioned?
We work very closely with the tourism and transportation officials. We've had very lengthy discussions on the need to improve accessibility. We've given our thoughts on what we feel would be the emerging destinations from a hotel development point of view. And we're very happy with the cooperation that has so far been given to us.
Okay, so with the Philippines emerging as a premier destination in Southeast Asia, industry leaders have noted the country's potential to evolve into a global playground city, integrating luxury real estate with entertainment and lifestyle offerings. What initiatives are underway to develop this concept, and how does PHOA envision the future urban landscape of cities like Manila?
Well, we basically look at it from two perspectives. The first one is we look at the facilities and services that we currently have, and we benchmark it against what is offered in other destinations around the globe. And this means that we have to make sure that we continuously upgrade our facilities and services to make sure that they remain competitive. The second perspective is really looking at what the market or the markets are looking for. And it's very important for us to closely study or scrutinize emerging trends, especially among certain demographics. We know that the younger set has been traveling quite extensively. We talk about the millennials, the Gen Zs, the alphas. It's very important for us to consider the motivations for travel. Very important for us to determine what kind of experience they're looking for. So in managing our hotels, we make sure that we address basically two things: the hard infrastructure, meaning our buildings, just to make sure that we have the facilities that they're looking for, and second is on the soft part, which is really ensuring that they are able to experience what they're looking for.
Okay. Sir, we have to pause for a few reminders. When we return, we'll ask you, Mr. Bengzon, how PHOA is leveraging data-driven strategies to adapt to changing traveler preferences. Stay on BNC and follow the money. We're back with Follow the Money and still with Philippine Hotel Owners Association Executive Director Benito C. Bengzon. Okay, SiteMinder's report suggests that Philippine hotels are poised for a revenue boost in 2025, driven by strong international bookings and rising room rates. What measures are being taken to ensure that this growth is sustainable and benefits both large chains and independent hotel owners? Go ahead, Mr. Bengzon.
Well, what's important is for us to be updated on the trends, especially on the consumer preferences. So what we have noticed in the last few years is that there are certain requirements or certain I would say trends that cut across different demographics, and I can mention three. The first one is the trend towards personalization. So whether you're a first-time traveler or repeat traveler, the hotels now are striving to come up with a customized offer experience for its visitors. And this is where technology comes in, because we have to have a better understanding of what they're looking for, whether it's a room with a view of the park, a view of the ocean, if it's preference for a certain cuisine. So this is where technology comes in. The second trend that we see that cuts across the different demographics is the desire of travelers to support or to patronize hotels that are into sustainability. I think this is something that's very important, something that we fully support as an association. And the third trend that we see is the combination of business travel and leisure. So you hear terms like leisure, which have now compelled many hotels to set up workation facilities or services in their rooms, because now when people travel, they do it both for business and for leisure. So these are just some of the trends that we're seeing, and on the part of the hotels, we're making adjustments to make sure that we're able to deliver an unforgettable experience for our guests.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe you can delve into it more, sir. So you mentioned about personalization and customized offer experience. And also you mentioned about technology. So what kind of technology are you talking about, sir?
Well, when we talk about technology, it's really using AI, for example, to get more information on the preferences of the consumer, so that we're able to come up, like I said, with a customized package or customized offer. When you talk about technology per se, many of our hotels are already employing technology that will make it easier for visitors, for example, to check in. So many of our hotels have self-check-in kiosks. Some of our hotels use robots for cleaning public areas. So these are just examples of the use of technology to help improve our operations.
So they're actually looking for comfort and the ease of providing these services to them.
That's correct. There are certain segments that want to do digital, and you see this. This is mostly evident among the younger ones.
Yes.
The Gen Zs or the millennials who prefer to do their bookings, using their smartphones, or those who prefer to check in using the kiosks, as they do, for example, in airports. But then again, we have to be mindful that there are still certain segments who put a premium on face-to-face interaction. And these are the age bracket that wouldn't mind, going to the front desk, handing over their passport or identification to do a physical check-in. But I think what's important is that we give travelers various options, and depending on what they're comfortable with, then the hotel will have the options for them.
So at least there should be a balance to suit, or at least to address and respond to various interests.
Absolutely. The balance is very important because, like I said, we cater to a wide range of traveler segments. It's important for us to have a better and to have a deep understanding of their requirements.
And also, you mentioned earlier the other one, a desire of travelers to patronize those who advocate sustainability. So at least there is a wide awareness when it comes to sustainability.
Well, people want to do their share. They want to contribute to saving the planet. Many of them are well aware of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So many of them look for hotels that are known to go green. Whether it's in terms of recycling water, or using solar panel technology, using energy efficiency systems in the rooms. So it's a trend that has strengthened over the years, and we're happy because this actually helps reduce the operating costs of some of our hotels.
Which is definitely good and will benefit all of us. Okay, next question, sir. The collaboration between PHOA and the Department of Tourism aims to launch a pioneering strategy for industry growth through 2028. Could you provide insights into the key components of this strategy and how it plans to address current challenges in the hospitality sector?
Well, in October last year, the Philippine Hotel Owners Association and the Department of Tourism jointly launched the Philippine Hotel Industry Strategic Action Plan. So what is this document? It's basically a blueprint that tells us what the hotel landscape will look like in the next 5 years. How many hotels do we need? How many rooms do we need? In what category will there be a demand? Will it be in the 5-star category, the 4-star category, 3-star category? What destinations will require those hotels? And very, very important is what kind of facilities and services are the new wave of travelers looking for. Now, from a business standpoint, it's also important to make sure that the investments are viable. And that document will also include a wish list of incentives, fiscal and otherwise, that are needed for investors, developers, to make their projects commercially viable. So it's basically a roadmap for the Philippine hotel industry, and a very good example of partnership between government and the private sector.
Okay. Agoda's recent findings show that Philippine Gen Z, which you mentioned earlier, travelers spend an average of $50 per day on hotel accommodations. How are hotels adapting their services and pricing models to cater to this demographic? And what role does PHOA play in guiding these adaptations?
Well, we realize that different segments have different spending capacities. And I think, again, what is important is that we're able to tailor fit the offers to what the market is looking for. In the case of the younger set, we see interesting trends that we continue to address. And earlier I mentioned about workation. So some of our hotels have adjusted accordingly. Many of them are putting up more outlets or sockets than you would normally find in hotels that were built years back. And the reason for this is that when the Gen Zs check in the hotel, they want to plug in their gadgets, their iPhones and whatnot, while they're multitasking. The other interesting thing is that many of them are into, social media, very active in social media. And hotels have to make sure that they have that, one or two spots which are considered Instagrammable, because almost invariably the guests will take photos of themselves, whether it's by the pool, sipping their wine, or enjoying their dish. So these are the small things that we're very mindful of, and something that has guided us when we put together the packages for our guests.
Okay, so really the key here is to adapt to stay and remain competitive.
Adaptability appears to be the overarching principle that we're seeing now in the hospitality industry. That hotel business is very dynamic. There's so many moving parts, and for us to survive in a very competitive industry, we have to be very adaptable. We have to be very quick in addressing the changes in consumer behavior and preferences.
Okay, the Philippines is gaining recognition as a rising destination in Asia for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, or MICE. What steps are being taken to enhance the country's infrastructure and services to attract more MICE events? And how does PHOA support its members in capitalizing on this opportunity?
Well, first of all, MICE is a very lucrative market. The average spend of a MICE delegate is maybe 2 times, 3 times, maybe even 4 times what a normal holiday traveler would spend. So it's a lucrative market, it's a sought-after market, but they also have very special requirements. And it's very important for hotels, which house some of these convention facilities and banquet facilities, address their particular requirements. Now, the MICE industry is quite complex. You have the meetings component, incentives, conventions, and exhibitions. But I think collectively what's important here is, number one, we're able to develop a facility that will be able to accommodate huge numbers of conference delegates and exhibitors. So people talking about developing exhibition area, anywhere from 50,000 square meters and up. So this is something that we have to work on. The other thing is that fortunately for the Philippines, we have very professional, highly experienced Congress organizers. And this is one advantage that we have, something that has kept the profile of the Philippines as a major MICE destination. And of course, the other crucial element there would be to make sure that the destination or the country marketing campaign is sustained around the globe, because people have to recognize the Philippines as a major MICE destination.
Okay. I'm quite curious to know, sir, what nationalities appear to prefer staying in the country? Are they more drawn to hotels in the metropolis or in the more exotic locations? And what can the country do to balance out the bookings?
For inbound tourists, meaning those who come from abroad, the main gateway is still Manila. The second largest gateway would be Cebu, and the third would be Clark. Clark, also Davao. I think what's one advantage that we have is that because we have a lot of airports, tourists, particularly from Southeast Asia, have more options now to fly direct to their end destination. Whereas before, everything funneled into Manila. Nowadays, if people want to go to Davao, then they can fly direct. They want to fly to Clark, fly direct. They want to go to Boracay via Calibo, they can fly direct. So I think that's one advantage that the Philippines has. In terms of nationalities, Koreans are still the biggest market for the Philippines, inbound market. The U.S. market is still big. Japan, China, also.
Are you also targeting other nationalities?
Yes, the Philippines is also looking at other emerging markets. No? On the part of the Philippine Hotel Owners Association, no? Of course, we're also looking at long-haul markets such as Europe and the Middle East. And closer to the region, we're looking at Southeast Asia as a low-hanging fruit.
Okay, you mentioned earlier about challenges. Are political issues a factor, or are tourists and business, or are they oblivious of issues related to politics?
It's not a major issue. I think if there's any concern about the situation here, it's no different from the same concern that they have when they go to other destinations. So I don't really see it as a deterrent. I don't see it as a major consideration. People are well informed now. I think what's important is for the travelers to do their research on the destination.
Okay, we've covered pretty much. Thank you very much, Mr. Benito C. Bengzon Jr., Executive Director of the Philippine Hotel Owners Association, for sharing your valuable insights into the dynamic and evolving landscape of the Philippine hospitality industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
As the sector continues to innovate and adapt, it is poised to solidify the Philippines' position as a premier global destination. And before we go, we leave you with this thought from Taleb Rifai, former Secretary General, UN World Tourism Organization. And he said, the success of destinations depends on the quality of the experience they offer. And that's it for today's edition of Follow the Money. This is Maricar Bautista for Rain Musni. Thanks for watching. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.